Welcome to the first episode of Cooking with Aaron. Today we're going to be making chili con carne, which is a Spanish dish and it has lots of meat, vegetables and beans. Okay, to get started we need to collect all of our ingredients. So for that we need some garlic, some onions, some basil and marjoram, some oregano, some freshly ground black pepper, celery salt, bay leaves, and in here I have a mixture of Cajun seasoning, cayenne pepper, cumin and coriander all ground up. About 2 teaspoons of each of those. The easiest way to open your garlic is to take the side of your knife, put the clove on the cutting board and just press down with your knife and crush it open. Take the shell off and put it in the bin. You don't need to cut the garlic too finely for this recipe because we are going to stew it for a really long time and it's going to break down anyway. So you can crush it into pieces, cut it into small slices and then add it in. The first thing we're going to do is prepare our beef. Ordinarily for a chili con carne you would have minced beef, but for this recipe I'm actually going to use a beef brisket and it's going to slowly cook and then pull apart and it'll give the chili a lot more texture and be a lot more interesting and a lot of flavor. And to add to that flavor, take our knife and just gently score the edge of the beef along the fat side, and we want to do it in a kind of crisscross checkerboard style. You don't want to cut too deeply, but you want to get through that first layer of fat and tissue so that you get down into the beef. So now we have our beef scored and we're going to add in all of these ground ingredients and rub them in here. Now you want it to be fairly thick. Now this is a lot of herbs, but whatever falls off this we're going to use later, so don't worry if some of the herbs fall off onto the board because we're going to pick them up and keep them in. So you want to get them really nice and deep into all of those little cracks and crevices. Get them in there, coat the meat really well and get it in there so that it doesn't fall off in the pan. You want to get all of that nice and well coated onto the one side of this meat. Okay, give it a little shake. Give it a little shake. Once your pan is really nice and hot, and I've got a griddle here, so with a griddle you don't necessarily need to use oil. If you've got a flat pan you want to put in just a little bit of olive oil to grease the pan up, but in a griddle pan you want to get a nice sear on the meat, so you don't need to use oil. Plus, if you've got a deep griddle pan, the oil is going to sit inside the crevices anyway and not really touch your meat, so it's a bit of a waste. So with this, you're just going to put it straight face down on one side of the pan, right over the heat, and just let it sit. So I've got my red onion here, and I want to just put the onion into slices so it's super simple to chop. Just make sure you keep your fingers out of the way of your knife. Prepare our capsicum. Do that, just push in the center. These can be fairly rough because they're going to stew down as well. Tip out the seeds into your bin. We don't want those. And just rough slices for the capsicum. Slice that up. The last thing we're going to add to that is a chili. So we have chili here, a little bit dried. You can take the seeds out if you want to. If you want to do that, just slice it gently down the middle. and then just pull the seeds out. They'll come out usually as a single strip, being a few seeds in there. You can add more or less chili as you like. I will probably add a bit more because I do like a bit of chili. Okay, so, and the capsicum. Now we don't want to cook the capsicum through because it's going to go into the pot with everything else. Now we have this very large pot that we're going to do our slow cooking in, and to get that started, what we're going to do is first throw in our garlic. So we're just going to give that a very rough chop. Smaller. And we get a little bit of olive oil. Just throw that in the bottom. 2 cans of tomato. You can use whole tomato. I use diced because it's easier. Okay, you also want to add in a heaped teaspoon of beef stock, 2 cans of black beans. Okay, and now I'm going to turn my heat right down to low. I'm just going to pick this meat up and drop it into that mixture. Okay, and then we're going to take our capsicum and onion mix and put that on top of the meat. Make sure that the meat is covered. About a cup or so of red wine. Darker chocolate the better. This is 85%. So a few blocks of that, just rub it straight in. Alright, we're just going to cover that up and let that sit, and we're going to come back to it in 3 hours time. We're going to make guacamole to go with. So guacamole is super easy. Just take your avocado and, oh, that feels really hollow, and slice it open. Okay, pop the seed out. We're going to cut up our tomato, and you want to cut this fairly fine. As well. With a fork, just really mush that up. Cracked pepper, be fairly generous, a little bit of salt, bring out the flavour of the avocado, and then you need this just to taste, a bit of hot paprika, just to give it a bit of zing to it as well. And stir that all together, leave a little bit there so it's still stuck together, and then when you dice it up, it will be in nice little chunks. Throw that in, just add it in parts, you don't want to have too much. Next thing you're going to do is roll the lime and then just cut it straight down the middle and give it a good squeeze into there. Lime juice should be plenty. That's just going to freshen it up. Okay, so then guacamole, and there you have it. Dig in. So there you have my not traditional at all chili con carne. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.